Hi everyone, Christina here. Welcome to another video. This video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be painting this stamped image from Concord and Ninth and kind of talking to you guys a little bit about where I've been, a little bit of a life update, why I went off the radar for about a week and a half. It's unusual for me. If I'm gone for that long, usually I give you guys a heads up. So just to catch you up to where I'm at, I used some Fabriano extra white hot pressed watercolor paper, and then I stamped the Meadow Blossom stamp set from Concord and Ninth. I'm going to be painting this one today. I stamped it in some VersaFine Onyx Black ink as well. I'm going to go ahead and tape this to a board so that it is ready for all of the painting. Okay, so where have I been? Well, it's a long story. The day that I posted my last video, which I'd actually filmed the week previous, or like days previous, I was actually ahead for once. I developed a really high fever and generally just felt awful. I sort of had mild allergy symptoms for a while, which I'm like, okay, well, I still have those, and I now have this fever and all this, so it probably is the flu. So I stayed at home, stayed in bed, lots of rest, never started feeling better. It was pretty terrible. I had no energy, couldn't get out of bed. Had no appetite, hardly eating. It was sad town. Anyway, so using my Magellan Mission Gold watercolors today. You can probably tell in my voice I'm still not well, so that's what this video is also about. So that was a week and a half ago. Anyway, before I get to painting, it's hard to concentrate. Okay, so wasn't getting better. It had been a week. I ended up going to an urgent care clinic near my house, and they did blood work because nothing really pointed at the flu. So they did blood work, and then later that day they called and said, "Hey, you need to go to the emergency room. Your blood work is really strange." So I ended up going to the emergency room that night where they don't let you drink water or eat until they know what's going on. And I was so dang thirsty. It was so awful. It's the first time I've ever been to an ER. First time I've ever had testing done like this. Yeah, they ended up doing a abdominal ultrasound and CAT scan and all sorts of crazy things. I mean, when I was at the urgent care earlier that day, they did, what did they do? They did a chest x-ray, they did an EKG, they did all sorts of weirdness, and also strep tests at the same time. Anyway, long story short, they didn't, all of the testing at the hospital, at the ER, turned out fine. It was inconclusive. There was nothing showing that was wrong. So, kind of baffled at this point. The main concern was that my my liver numbers were off the charts, not normal. And so they were concerned what's going on. Tested negative for all the usual causes for that. Anyway, I even hesitate to bring all this up because we still don't know entirely what's going on. And so I was going to wait to say anything until I knew. But anyway, so came home Thursday night from the hospital. Came home. They were comfortable sending me home at that point. They sent me home Thursday night. I'm following with the specialist. Saturday, they called and said, "Hey, your strep test that we did, on Thursday, 2 days ago, came back positive. You've got strep. Which I was like, no duh. My throat is killing me. Anyway, so it took them a while to figure that out. But so they put me on antibiotic right away. And then I'll be going into the specialist this week to hopefully figure things out. I'm hoping that all of the issues that I'm having are related to strep, because then that would mean that, you can almost safely assume that once the strep is under control and that's taken care of, that things can start to get back to normal, like it gives it. My liver will stop freaking out. And I've talked to people who let me zoom in for you. I know someone whose brother ended up being hospitalized for a week because they thought he had a heart attack. Turns out it was not a heart attack. Turns out it was strep. So, strep infections, for the most part, while very mild, most of the time, they really can wreak havoc on your body. So I'm hoping that that's all this is. So at this point, I've been on antibiotics for 48 hours, or just shy of 48 hours. So that's good. I have a little bit of energy back. I'm anticipating that as soon as I finish this painting here, I'm probably going to have to go crash for a few hours, which is sad because I have lots to do. I think it's just going to have to wait. Like when you get sick, or even, if a loved one gets sick or whatever, you really just have to take stock of like what's most important at that moment, And anyway, I was thinking it was probably most important to just take a little bit of time and let you guys know where I'm at and why I still might be a little bit scarce over the next little bit. And I'm exhausted. This is so weird. I usually have so much more energy. It's just bizarre. Anyway, while I'm just talking at you guys, in my last video, I promised my thoughts on the capsule paper crafting collection and how it finished up and wrapped up for the month. So I did want to cover that a little bit because I kind of left you guys hanging. I really loved doing the capsule paper crafting supplies. I can be very easily overwhelmed by the amount of supplies and things that I have to use in my craft room. And really narrowing all that down provided a little bit of a freedom that I sort of thought probably would happen, but I wasn't expecting how wonderful it would be. So I highly, highly recommend doing that. Even if you decide to just try it out for just, a week or two, but to just give yourself a limited supply, it really forces yourself to be more creative. I think it turned out great. I just realized that when I was painting this orange flower up here that I was off camera. Sorry, guys. I'm really out of it. It's been 2 weeks since I filmed. Not to mention the whole being sick thing. Okay, I think I'm going to add orange, or actually maybe a little bit of red to this flower right here. I'm not entirely sure what these flowers are. They sort of look like pansies to me. I don't know. But like we've learned watching my videos, I generally don't paint flowers the realistic colors they're supposed to be. I'm too lazy. I don't want to look it up. So as far as the paper capsule or capsule paper crafting challenge goes, I'm going to be taking a break from that for a little bit. I think maybe I'll do it again in the future. But for now, I'm setting it aside so I can use some of the amazing new products that have come out. Some were asking if I was going to continue it into March. No, March is going to be kind of open. That also brings up another point that I need to cover in this little update video, which is mail call. Because I got sick right that time when I would have been opening envelopes and sharing everyone's cards, yeah, that's been postponed as well. Just because I can't do it right now. So anyway, this video is sounding so depressing. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just so low energy that it's hard to like put on a smile and kind of fake. I mean, not that I do that ever, but it's hard to just, put on an upbeat facade and kind of go about as if everything's okay. I am optimistic that my doctor, so the specialist I'm going to this week, is going to figure out what's going on. Before I knew I had strep, I went in and for extensive blood work, had to give 8 vials of blood, which about wiped me out that day. I have never in my life felt so terrible. Now, I felt bad going in, and then when I was at the clinic, these poor girls, the nurses or lab staff or whatever, they were like, "You gonna be okay?" Because they're looking at me like, "Are you okay? Do you need to lay down for a bit?" And I was like, I felt this bad when I came in. I still feel really bad, so I'm not any worse, so I'm probably okay. So anyway, they were just really funny. Okay, what color green? I'm going to add another kind of a different toned green to these leaves. Just because they're all one tone right now, and I want to give them a little bit of variation. So I'm adding a bluish green just to give them a little bit of variety. And I think it'll really give it a good tone. Yeah, I like how this green is turning out. Adding this kind of more bluish green over the top, I think really adds quite a bit of life to these leaves. Speaking of leaves, I got this plant from my sister for Christmas. It was a cutting of an aloe vera plant that my grandmother had for years and years and years. My grandmother passed about 10 years ago, and she gave the plant to my sister before she passed. And my sister, who normally does not have a green thumb, has kept this plant alive for so long. And not only that, but it's been thriving, and the thing's huge, and she has to keep repotting it and trimming it down, and it's out of control. So for Christmas, my sister gave each one of us, of the siblings, a bit of this aloe vera plant. And mine was dying, you would not believe. Turns out I was overwatering it. I was watering it once a week. Turns out that's way too much for an aloe vera plant, which I guess is a succulent. So after almost killing it for 6 weeks, I eventually Googled it, which you can find anything on Google, right? So I Googled it. I basically took the whole plant out of the pot, out of the dirt, laid it on a paper towel, and let it sit for 2 or 3 days to dry out. And it's the craziest thing ever, because any other plant would shrivel up and die. This thing actually came back to life. This thing, it's crazy. So I've now put it back into very dry soil. I still have not watered it, and it's still thriving. So I basically, pretty sure I tried to drown it, and it said, "No, not today, Christina." And it's just don't give me any water. So that's where I'm at. anyway, there's my painting for today. It's not my best. It's not my worst. It's just kind of fun. It was good to kind of get my supplies out and kind of move things around a little bit. Anyway, I'm not sure when I'll be back. I do know that I have a video for Simon that I usually do every month. That'll be coming up, I think, tomorrow. So I'll have to film some more tonight. But after that, I'm just going to kind of take it easy. Thank you guys for being patient with me and for just kind of allowing me time to like get my ducks in a row. A lot, like everything that I would do that's not like YouTube related, that's not, you know, like crafting or whatever, still has to be done. So design deadlines, things like that. And unfortunately, YouTube is not what pays the bills, you know, so I have to spend time on what does. And so I'm going to be focusing on that and putting my energy there. But I haven't forgotten you guys. In fact, I have a video that I filmed in January that I never shared because the stamp set wasn't out yet. Stamp set came out in February, so I'll put that up this week. And I also have some footage of mail art envelopes. Envelopes you've already seen on my Instagram, but I filmed while I was creating them, so I can edit those and share those as well. So not going anywhere, just laying low for a bit. Thanks so much for watching today. I will see you guys in another video, hopefully very soon. I mean, I gotta do mail call at some point. So anyway, thanks for watching. I will see you guys very soon.